Ford Ranger's 6-speed automatic transmission. You're probably sick of me talking about it, but I want to show you something, how the factory cooling system works and why it's shit and why you should consider replacing it. So as you can see, I've just added some external trans coolers to this Ford Ranger. Now the factory setup underneath the car, just alongside the bell housing, is usually what we call the heat exchange unit. I've obviously got it ripped out, so I'm going to show you what it is and how it works and why it's shit. That is the heat exchange unit that sits on the side of the bell housing. These two go into the transmission to run the transmission oil into the cooler and then back through. And these pipes have engine coolant that run through them to try and cool down the transmission oil, which if you didn't think was a stupid enough idea, because coolant obviously gets hot, you're trying to cool down your transmission fluid with hot coolant. And this unit being tucked next to the bell housing and the engine block obviously doesn't get much airflow as well, so that as well just gets hot. To make things worse, inside the transmission case underneath the valve body is one of these thermostat valves, which basically holds the transmission oil within the transmission until it gets hot enough that this valve moves, and then it lets it pass through this to get nice hot airflow and hot coolant to keep it cool. And it does not take a genius to know that it's just going to get hot. You've got all these hot things happening and it's going to keep that transmission fluid hot. And in case you also didn't know, if you're new to having a Ranger, the hot transmission fluid levels in those trans cause a million problems. Even on a good day, these transmissions shit themselves, and a lot of time the excess heat in the fluid contributes a lot to it. A very cost-effective upgrade is doing the thermostat bypass valve, and then if you wanted to further drop those temps again, you add those external trans coolers. Now, I've been doing this for long enough that I've seen, and I've had these cars come back years after for their servicing, and I've seen firsthand the transmission oil is always a lot better condition, and there's a lot less build-up and debris in the transmission pan and on the magnets when the trans temps are kept lower. So whatever theories you have about running the transmission fluid on these autos cold is bad, I don't care, because I've literally seen it firsthand over the years that it is better. All your theories are well and true, but actual physical experience says something else. So I just wanted to quickly do a video and show you guys, because you've probably seen that I talk a lot of shit about these heat exchange units from factory, but I've never actually shown you what it is and how they work. So now you have a better idea of why they're actually a bad unit, why they're actually a bad design, and why it's definitely worth deleting it out of the car and running some external coolers. Not only is it bad for the temperature as well, but it also runs the risk, if they crack internally, your coolant and your transmission oil will mix, which doesn't take a genius to know that that is fucked, because that will either fuck the auto or will fuck the engine. So deleting it, doing these trans coolers, not only will help the transmission in terms of temperature and longevity and just overall performance, but it will also give you a bit of preventative maintenance to protect the transmission and the engine and keep the fluids completely separate. So if you own a Ranger or a BT50 with the 6-speed 6R80 transmission, and you just want an idea of what will be the best thing to do for in terms of longevity and maintenance, preventative maintenance, do what this guy is doing. Get a bypass valve fitted, and also consider putting some trans coolers as well, and just remove the factory heat exchange unit, and you may find it will save you thousands of dollars down the line. So I'm going to keep going with this Ranger. Hopefully I don't need to do any more bloody videos on Rangers, because you guys are probably getting sick of it. So until next time, see you in the next video.